I will tell you that I was mocked mercilessly about this in the dorm by by some folks who just thought that was the dumbest distraction from a serious education you could imagine. Be a better one, and I got it in my head that this just needed to happen. I will tell you that I was mocked mercilessly about this in the dorm by some folks who just thought that was the dumbest distraction from a serious education you could imagine. And they were probably right to some level, but it ended up being the foundation of my whole education and my whole career because, long story short, going back to my father, I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" He goes, "Well, I don't know, but you got to come up with a business plan. You got to develop the product. You got to get a prototype. You got to find a manufacturer. You got to get, you got to get a loan. I'm not giving you the money. You don't have any money." So, he kind of mapped it all out for me and kind of put the whole picture in miniature of what business actually is in front of me. And I just found that really exciting. And so I worked through the steps. I found a manufacturer. I got a prototype. I negotiated a licensing agreement with Northwestern University. I discovered the difference between gross and net, which I didn't know those terms, but Northwestern wanted 6% gross, and then I put that in my little calculations. I'm like, there's no way I can afford that. So I kind of leaned on my innocence and said, how about 3% net? And they're like, okay, whatever. It's like the best negotiation I ever had in my life. And sure enough, it all came through. I did a business plan. I went to a local bank. The first one turned me down. The second one looked at my business plan and said, okay, I think he can pull this off, and gave me $35,000 in 1986. And went and got my inventory, and I just started selling Will of the Wildcats for the next 3 years at school, and got paid back the loan early, made a little bit of money. Had quality problems, had to work with my fraternity brothers to be, a sales force for me at the football games and just, come up with segmented marketing approaches. How do you talk to alumni? How do you talk to incoming students? How do you talk to sororities? How do you talk to fraternities? And all of these are just little microcosms of what I ended up doing for the whole rest of my career. And it's ultimately the reason why I got my first job in advertising, is because that experience demonstrated that I might be the kind of guy that might be good at marketing.